Hi there everybody and welcome to episode 9 of my Spaceblock series for Factorio. I'm Icon and today we will expand this power array to its full size. So right now I'm working with 8 boilers. This water pump can accommodate 20 of those beasties and we're gonna do that. So it's quite easily explained. One pump produces 1,200 units of water per second. Each boiler can consume 60 units of water per second, ends up with 20 boilers. I've pre-produced most of the things that we need. I didn't pre-produce the boilers yet, but I do carry with me enough materials to just pre-produce all the rest of the things that we need. So let's see, we're going to need 10 more of those, and then we should be good to go. Alright, so I did my calculations here. We know that every boiler here can consume around 1.8 megawatt per second. Each unit of coal can store 4 megajoule, so that means each unit of coal roughly can burn something around a little bit more than 2 seconds in a burner. That means a burner eats up roughly a little bit less than half a unit of coal, but for the sake of simplification, we just assume that every burner eats 0.5 units of coal, which means we'll need to complete this array 12 more boilers, 6 units of coal per second. I already put this up as a little bit of a Helmod scheme here, and we got 40 assemblers on that job, which is quite nasty, but I can't change it for now. So we got to do some heavy lifting today. Also, the Nanobots have joined the fray because I grew extremely tired of needing to build that all by myself, because it's really annoying to build these inserter madnesses in a larger scale. All right, so we can now translate that. If we divide this by 4, we now can see that we need 10 assemblers per 3 boilers. So gonna be the biggest challenge of this will be to just assemble it in a way that it's not growing too bulky and too nasty. So let's see how I can pull it off. I did some thinking about whether or not to go solar at this point, but the thing is, solar power does need 2 things from me. First off, solar generators need steel, but honestly that would be the smaller problem. We can mass produce steel without too much of an issue, but way bigger problem lies in the accumulators. Accumulators need batteries. Batteries need sulfuric acid, and I'm pretty far away from producing sulfuric acid because no oil processing, no sulfuric acid basically. Therefore, I'll rather not. Okay, we are going to put these up together. I have no clue why I made it like that, but we're going to proceed now like this. Alright. Just building the boilers. And then a couple of pipes, I'd say. So I want to put up the generators first, because I personally think my life will be a lot easier when already all the infrastructure has been put down on the ground. So we can see what we'll need to provide for. I always feel like this makes planning of larger scale machineries a lot easier. Okay, let's connect these with water. And let's put up the big machinery. Also, I need some power poles pronto. And to sum up the question whether steam or solar, yes, the big drawback of my method here is that I am using tons of assemblers, which themselves eat up tons of energy. But beyond that, everything else is super simple to come by, you know? These machineries only need iron and stone, which are materials that I can easily provide. All the materials I'll need for solar power are way out of my reach right now. Maybe later down the road, I wouldn't say no to this, to the chance of that happening, but for now, I really don't want it. Alright, so we're going to put it down like that. So how the hell are we going to rack up 40 of these beasties now in an okay way? So how many are these? So that's 10. So this height are, well, I'd say we're going to do 2 of these blocks basically. Basically just the same as we did there, only twice. Guess that will be the easiest way how to do this. So at the end of this, we're going to just copy that that blueprint and duplicate it. All right. Whatever. Doesn't look that sweet, but little do I care. It has to do its job. All right, that's 20. And now we'll need so many more inserters than I prepared. Always like that, you know? You always think you are well prepared until you see the actual numbers. It's always like that with me. But at least I did a lot of preparation between this and the last episode this time, so... Nanobot upgrades. Nano explosives. Wait a sec, we don't need that at all. Explosives are equally useless at this gameplay. Let's research batteries. I mean, would be a shame to leave all that science unused. Oh, and I really want to pick up a couple of inserters and belts. And once all of this is done, I'll see where we'll end up there. So output and input. Let's copy that. And this is a lot easier. And now we'll just take that and rotate it. And let's see. Wait a sec. Rather not. Or anything really bad happens. My brain is not willing to process this, and I just want to copy the entire array now one time there, and just place it down a second time here. And the rest is the work of my nanobots. So we're going to let the materials flow this direction here, of course. And, oh, I think that might mean that all these inserters are wrongly aligned. Yes, they are. Oh no, I would have needed to rotate that whole blueprint. Oh well. I haven't worked with nanobots in a while, so... At least I did notice it this time before something bad happened. Alright, so we'll do it like that, and this time we'll just copy it. This. Doesn't hurt if the belt is in the blueprint. Not at all. Okay. Now let's just provide these little buggers with the necessary inserters. Wire them up somehow. Can't wait to fire this machinery up. And I think we're going to run with a large power pulse this time. Well, okay. Then we're going to waste a little bit of material. problem. It's just large power poles. I got steel to no end. Okay, but before we proceed further with this madness, I want to kickstart a couple of these machines, so we get the ball rolling here. Okay, and that's that. That's all we'll need. Now these bad boys just need to work on their down trickle, and we'll have a fully maxed out power array in no time. So let's see, that's 20 boilers. We set up everything according to plan. All that's now necessary is that these dudes here feed themselves thoroughly. Okay, so that's going to bring us a nice amount of power for the time being. Of course, we could now make all of this more compact by taking down this whole array here. And we got 8 machines, so we could actually, guess, let's see, 8 machines need 4. So we could work with 27 assemblers here instead of the, I don't know, how many do we have here? 20 on this side, and 20 on this side. So this whole array would grow a lot more compact. But, you know what, I'm not that interested in that. Way more important for me are now the questions that, or no, not the question. It's not a question at all. The more important thing right now for me is that we're going to start and multiply our oils because it's about time to get towards space matter. So let's see how we're going to work with that. I literally never really worked with machines with barrels or such, so we're going to see how this will work out. Okay. Do we have tanks? Yes, let's produce a couple of storage tanks because they will go in handy. I really haven't thought a single little moment about how we're going to pull this off in Spaceblock, because I wanted to share the thought process here online, because I always feel like it's an interesting thing to see how things come together. Oh, see, I'm talking about things coming together. I thank you guys so much for pointing out that this was wrong. So last time I left this off, this piece of belt was missing, and this little rascal was starving out this machine. Thanks for pointing that one out. I think I might have not noticed that for a pretty long time. Okay, so let's start out and just craft the machines that we need and see where this will lead us. Also, it's quite obvious that we can't produce stone bricks by hand, so I took the liberty of already preparing a little bit of a machinery here, which produces stones. We just need to bring up a furnace or two. So let's see, how much furnace can we actually feed per unit of coal? I don't know, insanely much. So we're just going to slap in a duo of coal producers, and we're going to bring up a improvised production of bricks here, because I'm just too lazy to make that large scale. So for the lazy method, we're going to uninstall this, because this was merely a little bit of a buffer that I've set up for myself. The lazy method is when I just don't worry about splitting the belts at all, and I'll just go inserter madness. Don't get me wrong, this works out nicely, but it's an insane overkill of materials, because generally said, we're wasting our we're wasting our potential here massively. You need half the amount of inserters if you weave your fuel and your... Oh, that's totally necessary. If you weave your fuel and your material together, but, well, I need a quick input of bricks, and that's what we did. Alright. Let's do this like that. Just make sure that this chest doesn't get overfilled here. I mean, I could lay down bricks literally everywhere. Well, maybe I'll leave it open for now. Who knows? But let's... My actual interest was the oil refinery. So, oil refinery. Let's build a chemical plant too. Oh, I still got one. Oh, never mind. Okay. Got two? Jeez. Where did he come from? Okay. Let's look. Oh, our power array is now fully working. So I'm producing 36 megawatt in total. Is that correct? Is that the amount I'd expect? Yes, it is. Okay. So 36 megawatt. And let's see, we're consuming 10 units of coal. So this method here is pretty much consuming about a third of its own power production just for its own sustain. But the plus side, it's infinite. So we can't just copy that as often as we want to, and it will provide us infinitely more power. The only things we need are landfill, iron, and the other puny materials. I like that. Okay, so we can only go for this one recipe. So this goes oil into petroleum gas. And we can craft sulfur out of petroleum gas. Okay. And here's the duplication recipe, which just needs oil and produces more oil. Wonderful. Okay, so let's see. I guess the assembler gets a fluid output in that moment. Yes, okay. Now then, let's select an area to do oil, I'd say. So I'm not going to do oil in this vicinity because I want to keep the option open to mirror that and just do the same procedure as I did here on the other side to add this up to 40 steam power, to 40 steam engines. So up here is my landfill area, down here is my sciencey area. Well, I'd say... I got no clue. Let's just, for the sake of symmetry, complete this island a little bit. I must ask myself, too, what is the purpose of my method right now? I mean, just producing these materials for the sake of producing these materials should not be my main goal. What's the intention behind that? I can't tell you what's the intention behind that. I want to produce space matter. So let's check out what kind of, how much input would we need for the correct production of space matter. So the worst part about all this is that for the production of space matter, we'll actually need barrels. Not the oil itself, but barrels. Bummer. Well, that's really a nasty point, but it was to be expected. So duplicating uranium ore compared to that is actually a pretty easy and simple task. We have to check out how much... Well, let's see. We'll just check out the production of a random oil barrel now. Empty barrel. Okay. We're going to need 0.25 of those per second, so let's see. This is the production of 4 smelters. Lovely. Okay. Alright, so this would be the necessary backbone of what we're doing there. So let's compute that by factory. Let's say we want to accommodate one of them bad boys here. There we go. So we'll get 0.8 oil barrels per second. Okay. Now, the other thing we'll need is we need to fill these barrels too. So let's compute that by factory as well. And one of them buggers would be going like that. Okay, so we can't do that. So let's compute that by element and say we need 0.8 of those. So this is a production of 40 units of oil per second, and that was actually what I wanted to know, you know. So we'll need 40 units of oil out of that process. And for now, that's actually all that I want to have from this procedure. We're going deeper into that topic somewhere later down the road, but not now. I just want to prepare myself to get a small but definite production of space matter rolling. Because once we have that space matter, so many things will change with that. Therefore, I'm totally okay with a small-scale production of space matter to begin with. Because once we have that, all of my ore production will be so massively simplified. Because right now, I can't avoid a massive consumption of power in my production chains. Okay, we're gonna get out of there and let's do this. So we want to duplicate oil. Tell me, how much oil do we produce per second? Oh, great. So yeah, we're going to need 5 of these beasties. Just for one little space matter factory, which doesn't even produce too much space matter per second. This will be all just for 0.05 per second. So every 20 seconds, 1 unit of space matter. Disgusting. Oh well, what can we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's see. Every one of them barrel porous. How much can he actually pour per second? So 187.5. So we need to calculate the duplication process, of course, as well. Everything else would be not wise. So we do now know that our desired amount is 40 crude oil per second. Yeah, so we got that. Now, luckily, one of them dudes is enough for that entire chain. Like pretty much exactly. Well, not quite exactly, but you get the idea. Is that really? So 187.5, and we're going to consume 165 per second, so that should be quite okay. Okay. Then we're going to need a lot of pipe work as well. There's no oil without pipe work. So let's go for a couple of pipe to ground machines. And as soon as I have access to space matter in a automated scale, I'm willing to construct a small mall area. But before that, I consider it actually not really feasible. Because, you know, who am I kidding? I mean, my metal production will be always pretty puny as of right now. Okay, so I'll leave some space here, so we can afford to leave some space here. And obviously we need to go a little bit wider than that. Because the good news is, since we now run nanobots, I can just copy and paste whatever I want to. Alright, so we're going for the duplication process. Here we go. And for that to work out, we're going to empty crude oil barrels. Let's put that over into this direction. And then we're going to distribute that to these dudes. So after that's all been done, after that's all done, we'll need to put these back into barrels, right? So we're going to need, how did that work again? One machine being provided with barrels and with oil. Okay. And this will produce the 0.8 barrels per second that we need. Wait a sec. Now I'm a little bit confused. Ah, it's wonderful. This mod is really much more of a head scratcher than it looks like at the first glance. I like that. Okay, so as a matter of fact, with how I put up things, I should be capable of producing more than that. Yeah. I will be able to run 3 of these machines, actually, just when it comes down to that output of barrels. Not too bad, because I should be capable of amping up the other productions as well to this level. Then we would get 0.15 units of space matter per second. That's way better. Okay, now this is one of the most simple connections to make, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to need the next episode for that as well. Because I'm pretty sure I won't be capable of finishing what I have in mind here in this one session, but that's okay. We're going to set up everything else in the time between. No biggie. So let's check out how things will work out to begin with. So here, this guy needs power too. And we're going to toss our oil barrels into that. And why exactly aren't they working? I have no clue, but it doesn't really matter too much. So they got all this stuff now, and going to connect those together. And for the sake of simplicity, I felt like I wanted to start and store that stuff in the tank. Okay. And now, for the sake of craziness, we'll need to rewire that back up to this to make it work, because the system must feed itself, otherwise it won't work. So let's see. I still got some oil barrels somewhere. Alright, so let's see. That was already enough to kickstart the procedure. One of them is working. There should be always one working for now. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that at the end of the day, when this is done, we should have all the refineries working sooner or later. And then we should be capable of extracting exactly the necessary amount of oil out of that grid. So I'm actually considering to put one refinery more onto this grid, just to make sure that it never will run out. Basically, make it overproduce on purpose, so the units that extract from this grid will never extract over that threshold, which would stop the production chain. I'm not sure if that's necessary. It's pretty hard to evaluate for now, but that's not that important. So for the next episode, we will whip up the production of barrels there, just like that. And I'll prepare that in all sincerity. I mean, that's going to be not too problematic. I mean, we are already pretty much used to things like these. We'll need a couple of machines there. I'll prepare those, no biggie. Alrighty, friends, so next episode I think we will be a lot closer to the secrets of space matter. I definitely consider enlarging this array out of the simple reason that we will need sulfuric acid for the uranium duplication as well. So it won't hurt to amp up my oil production at this point. Anywho, thanks for watching. Drop your comments down below. Leave a thumbs up on this video if you want to make it more visible for the rest of the world. I'd be deeply grateful if you did. And of course, check out the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to do so. Daily content popping up there. Just subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay informed. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.